This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I'm your host, Eva Fulton. In this show, we explore the incredible journeys of resilience, healing, and transformation. In each episode, we will sit down with individuals who have faced unimaginable struggles and turned their pain into power, heartbreak into hope, and their challenges into meaningful change and finding new purpose in life. Through candid conversations and inspiring stories, we will uncover how pain, whether emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual, can be the catalyst for profound growth and a deeper sense of purpose. So if you are looking for motivation, insight, and real stories of triumph over adversity, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey from pain to purpose. Let's give veterans a voice through Military Broadcast Talk.
Hey, welcome everybody. Today is Saturday, March 28th, year of our Lord, 2026. I'm Eva Fulton. I'm your host of the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I'm live somewhere here in Maryland. I don't think I've been on this road before, but it was a convenient place to stop. I always promise to have my show no matter where I'm at. And I think that's really, the commitment that I have to the audience, to my fellow brothers and sisters, Americans, that, we're all in this fight together. We are all trying to figure out, how do we collaborate? How do we use the knowledge and skill sets and, expertise at each other's hands that I can't do by myself? It's one of the things that I even talking about in my book, Welcome to My People Garden, that I can't do everything in enough for me. And I do my best to try my own self-care. So thus I have the no makeup, no hair done. I came from a self-care appointment en route to an event that I'm going to be at tomorrow, hiking 14 miles out in Massanutten. I haven't ever been to this location. I have been on the Appalachian Trail, but to be timed 14 miles in 10 hours on elevation is going to be a different story. So I did some self-care today. I woke up with a raging headache. And, self-care is one thing, but there's also this pivot on caring for other people in our lives that, really mean a lot to us. And I was so excited when I was contacted by somebody to have our guest on the show today because of something that I had said in one of the episodes that helped her through that day. So, I feel very blessed that this is how our People Garden grows, that I am sharing part of the journey. I talked about it even in the intro film that, we have these pain points of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. When one of those, I use the example of a wooden chair. When one of those legs starts wobbling, how do we help somebody else? It's one thing to help ourselves, but it's a different thing when we're helping somebody else. And sometimes when it's our kid or a different loved one, that how do we help them navigate that, but also manage some of the inner struggles we may have. So Dr. Paula Yost is going to be joining us. She's an author, she's an attorney, and she's a plethora of information. So here we go with Dr. Paula Yost.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hi, Dr. Yost. How are you?
Hi, Eva. One small thing. I'm not a doctor. I am a
Oh, you're
lawyer
not?
and a licensed.
Oh,
I'm a licensed clinical mental health therapist and a lawyer, but I have not gone to medical school or done a PhD.
okay.
I'm a
Okay.
nerd who's really good at school, but I'm not a doctor.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem at all. I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited to talk to you about medical advocacy today.
So much to do. Before the show, I was telling you a little bit about my daughter and her issues, and this is not something that I've really shared publicly much. This has been her story, but I did ask her permission to talk about things because we had a very precarious situation with what she went through her senior year in high school, her first year of college, and then she ended up having to drop out, make some changes in life. But it was really tough because she was over 18, and here I am, her mother. I'm not a helicopter parent, still kind of, I grew up
Right.
free range, and I parent free range. I always saw my role as a parent that my role is to help. I provide the tools. I can provide plenty of other resources, but the doing is up to that person, right? Because I want her to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
empowered to take charge of her life. But there comes that time when she did have to, rely upon my help to help advocate for her. And the nitty gritty of it was that she lost 150 pounds in 1 year. She had it to lose, but she went from a very large, young woman to a very teeny tiny young woman. Her lowest weight was 115. And
Oh, wow.
she ended up with gastroparesis. So who knew that your stomach could actually become paralyzed? That's what gastroparesis means. There are Facebook groups out there that I think has helped me understand this. One, my daughter was not the Lone Ranger going through this issue, and it's very widely understood.
Uh,
But then there's the also part that it took me helping advocate to get the right kind of tests, because the first emergency room visit that I went with her was that the doctor wanted to blame her smoking pot as causing this problem.
yeah.
And so she did get off of smoking pot, but that actually made the symptoms worse. So she would have all this
Yeah.
food ferment in her stomach, and long story short, I was able to attend a second doctor down in Houston to a visit, who ordered a gastric emptying study test, and she ended up having 63% of the food still sitting in her stomach after 4 hours. She had to eat that, nuclear egg sandwich, and still had the
Um,
63% of the egg sandwich after 4 hours sitting in there. So it was a huge problem. She ended up with having her stomach removed, and
oh,
now she's facing diabetic issues as well, because she just can't keep enough food in her system, to metabolize. And it's so I'm saying all of that, it's how do we as parents, I want to make sure I'm leading into how do you help us understand how do we flip that around? If I'm asking the question right?
Yeah, no, I completely followed you. I think that I'm just taking a second because that is such a sad situation. And, a few things. I definitely have 20 something, and they are also smoking marijuana. And medical doctors are very quick to blame all of the problems that kids have on marijuana. But I usually tell them just stop for a little bit and see what happens, right? Truly cessate for a little bit and see what happens. And so often I hear about kids who do that worse. Exactly. The worst crying.
We're losing
That
you.
is so frustrating.
We're losing
That's
you.
just an incredibly frustrating
Hold on,
situation
Dr.
when that
Yost.
happens. So,
Or
I just
Paula?
am so compassionate to the marijuana issue. Um, but the next thing I would add is if that's your kid and you're in that situation that you're in, a few things that I recommend.
Paula, we're having
One is
some
that
technical
you don't,
issues. Paula?
Eva,
Yeah, we can't see you on screen and you're coming in and out.
oh no, okay, that's not good.
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
How's this? Are we better?
No, not really. Can you
I am
pop
not
out
good
and come
at
back
all.
in?
I can't hear you either. You seem like a chipmunk.
Yeah, that's how you sound. Can you come out and come back in?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We're both on the road. Y'all can probably see we're both in our vehicles. Sometimes life is lifing, right? She had to go help one of her clients, and so she was not expecting to be in her car either. Life happens. That's just the way it rolls. But we're making sure that the show goes on. So it usually takes a minute, folks, for folks to be able to, for her to come out and come back in. So in case y'all have missed it, so unfortunately she's not a doctor. I for some reason thought I saw she was doctor, but Paula Yost is an author and she's an attorney, and she is going to talk with us about, here we go. It's trying to come in. The video's got to come in.
Eva, is this better?
No. Why don't we take the video off and you just come in on the audio?
Okay, is that better?
It's a little bit better.
I don't know why this is happening.
I don't know. Could be blocking the Wi-Fi signal or something.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. I have 5Gs and a full charge.
I know I've got full signal, so
Yeah, me too.
interference. Well, I can still barely hear you, so let's go ahead and we'll keep moving on. So what were your thoughts about, how we have how does one navigate these situations?
So I think the best way to navigate these situations, hopefully mom and child have a good relationship. And mom can go with child to their medical appointments. But I don't think that's just mom and child. I think that's anybody in this type of a situation. You can be, anybody can get really sick. And if you are sick and you go to a medical appointment,
Right.
going to hear like part of what the doctor's saying. Like you might be getting the first 40% of what the doctor's saying. And that's where you really need an advocate with you, which can be a family member or a friend who hears what the doctor's trying to say and takes care of that other 40%.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to go out and come back in and see if maybe it's me. I don't. It's still too hard hearing you. So
Okay.
I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. Are you there? Paula? Okay. I can't hear if you're talking, Paula, I can't hear you. I'm so sorry, folks. Uh, all right. I think she's going to leave and try to come back on again. Hopefully, we'll see. If not, she and I had talked about rescheduling or doing a part 2 next Saturday, and we'll see. We'll see if she comes up. There you are.
Hi, Eva. Is this better?
Much better. Yes.
Much better. Yay.
Yay.
This technology.
I know,
On
right?
its own. It really does. All right. So what I was saying was, I think the situation that you had with your daughter is horrible, but it also happens a lot more than we think it does.
Yeah.
So you can, anybody can get sick. And if you're sick and you don't feel well anyway, and you go to the doctor, you might only be hearing like 10 or 20% of what they're saying. And
Oh,
you, Eva, are you still there?
I'm here. I can hear you, can't
I'm,
see you.
I'm here. Like I see. Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Okay. Well, we can hear
Oh
you,
my
so
gosh.
that's at least good. It's okay.
Okay, great. So what I was saying is, you need somebody to go to the doctor with you so that they can remember what's going on and help you remember what the doctor said. Because if you get focused on something that the doctor's saying, then that doesn't help, especially if the conversation is going something like the doctor's lighting up the 22-year-old about smoking pot.
Right.
Help. If there's another issue going on that, smoking marijuana doesn't make you lose 150 pounds in a year.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
Because it could have
like
been
that's where
cancer.
having somebody else in.
Right? It could have been cancer. And why aren't they doing the right test to figure out what's causing the weight loss? But we're telling with the weight loss, that she can't keep anything in her stomach. It didn't seem, I mean, I've never heard of pot causing somebody to, one, throw up like that, or two, lose weight like that either.
No,
I just knew we
never.
were being
That's
gaslit.
You were right. You were 100% right because unfortunately that people who right. Nobody, doctors don't expect that a 22-year-old is going to be on their deathbed. They just don't. Or that there's going to be something as serious as what was going on with your daughter. So they're far more likely to just sort of act like it's not a big deal and attempt to write it off. And it is a big deal and it doesn't need to get written off. It's very, very serious.
Right.
And so I think that unfortunately your daughter kind of got the shaft because of her age, because it was much easier to just blame it on a substance than it
Right.
was to actually like look or refer her to a specialist or do something else. So, I mean, she was really fortunate that she had you and that you were there to help her, because there's a lot of kids who have parents who aren't alive or who have parents who wouldn't have been there for them at all. So, she's fortunate that she had you.
Well, I'm also very thankful that she let me in that space, because I know that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that I tend to keep things, I've got this, I don't need help kind of thing. So I feel very thankful that she let me in that space to help her navigate, that she knew that I was there to help support her. In some ways I think it brought us closer together, but it's hard. Huh? You can't hear me?
That's a technical calamity.
Yeah. You're still kind of coming in and out. How about now? Would it be better we just go ahead uh and meet next Saturday? I can go ahead and go with the show, and let's see. I don't know. She's going to try to come back in, folks. So we may end up rescheduling her. We talked about, like I said, doing a part 2 of the conversation next Saturday as well. So let's see if she comes back. So the hard part, folks, is that this takes communication. I think that's the biggest part about, I think she's trying to come back on. What I was trying to bridge together was that my biggest takeaway between myself and my daughter, and then also talking with the doctors, is that this was a communication issue.
Yes. I think
Yeah.
you were right about that.
The hard part is getting the doctors who think they know everything to listen to the patients, because they forget that the patient knows their body better than the doctor does.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
So what if my daughter were navigating this by herself? Are there advocates out there who help them find that
Well,
voice?
I think the best thing to do is to take a family member or a friend who is already familiar with you.
Okay.
There's definitely advocates that you can get in like the school space. Like if you're having a special education issue at a school, there's advocates, but I'm not aware of a lot of medical advocates who will go with you and help you. So I definitely think calling upon a family member or a friend or literally anyone who you think can help you process this. I know I did a disability hearing a couple years ago for a 22-year-old who has an illness called dysautonomia. And so she has like random unannounced seizures. And her pediatrician basically just accused her mother of making it up and having Munchausen syndrome and this not being real.
Wow.
And right? And like this young woman is now 22, she's disabled. She has a dog, like a safety dog that tracks her heartbeat.
Oh,
Like, what? How did we get here?
how do we get here? That
How did
that the
we
doctors
get
don't
here?
want to trust, they don't want to trust the patients.
Yeah, they don't want to trust. They don't want to listen. And then, you know, we wind up having people that are sick. But I also think, too, fire your doctor. For God's sakes, if they're just not listening to you, like it sounds like even with your daughter's situation, the first doctor you took her to wasn't listening. So take
Oh
her to
yeah, he was an emergency room doctor, didn't want to listen to her. I physically saw what was happening to her. She the other thing they tried blaming it on was whether she was bulimic or anorexic.
oh,
You know, and that was not the issue either. You're not gonna constantly, I mean, I know that there are people with eating disorders out there. It's pretty prevalent even in the the military and veteran community, because we have to meet weight standards and stuff. But they were trying to find every other excuse rather than trying to physiologically figure out what was causing the problem.
That's right. And you can't write people off like that. Like, people aren't making this stuff up.
Right.
It's not psychological, especially when it's something to like weight loss and vomiting. Like, she had a really serious problem that it sounds like they were just deleting or ignoring because on the surface she looked okay.
Well, yeah, it's been huge even afterwards. So the dietitian care, the nutritional care afterwards are for people who had had the stomach removal to lose weight. Well, that was not, it's not designed to help somebody like her to at least maintain the weight that she is at, because she lost the weight that she was not intending to lose. So the hard part has been how did, and that's where now she's turned into, looks like as a diabetic, because the nutritional protocols don't help her maintain healthy weight with that diet because she has no stomach.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness, what a fail. That's just such a tremendous fail.
Yeah, you're still breaking up really bad.
You are too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Why don't we go ahead and bring you on next Saturday to finish up the conversation? We will both be in front of our normal computers. I can still go ahead
yeah,
and finish up the show with some jibber jabber catch up from what happened last weekend on my trip, and but I will get you to finish next Saturday. Okay.
that will be perfect, Eva. I'm so sorry we're having these problems.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Go get your son, and you have a fabulous day. Thank you for joining today.
You.
All right. All right, folks. So sorry about that. This is an important conversation. So that's why I want to make sure that we get Paula back next Saturday and continue this, like I said, it's a very important conversation. And I think not just from how do we have conversations with about health in our children, but it could be a loved one, could be, could be a spouse, could be your parent. My dad, I stay at my dad's, and he's getting older. He's going to be 84 next month. Is that right? No, 83. He's going to be 83 in April. And, he's still pretty self-sufficient, but I have gone through issues where I had to help my second husband. He was my ex-husband at the time, but I had to be the medical power of attorney for my second ex-husband. And, we have to have these kinds of conversations to know how do we manage things, not just help them manage their emotions, but help manage our own emotions and the things that we're going through. Because it's always, you have to take care of self before you can help somebody else. So remember, they even say it on airplanes, put your own mask on before you put on the mask next on the person next to you, whether it's a child or a parent or whoever. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and pivot then and do some recap. And I probably said something the other day on my check one video in the morning that people are like, well, what does she mean by that? So I said this was the most birthday month that I've ever had. And I really mean that in a good way, because if y'all haven't seen the car wreck that I was in when I was 22 on my birthday. And I wonder if I can pull it up. Let's see. I have an intro video that I haven't played in a while. And I don't know if it's over here. Where did it go? Here it is. Let's see if I can. I'm going to get to the part where the car wreck is. Okay. So here, let's play. So my answer to going to college was join the Army. 1992, my life changed forever. PCS to Germany with that car wreck happened on my birthday, March 20th, 1992. In basic training, my grandfather died on my birthday. The car wreck. So that was February 1980. No, sorry, March 20th, 1988. My grandfather died on my birthday. The car wreck happened on my birthday, March 20th, 1992. My first ex-husband assaulted me the day after my birthday in 1997. And then about, let's see, March 20, should have been March 24th, 23rd, somewhere around there. 2009, my second ex-husband served me divorce papers at church. So any other time, from what I remembered going through those years, it rained or something bad happened on my birthday, which caused a lot of anxiety over the years. And even last year, I think, going to Spain, I was very anxious going on this long trip and going by myself and going through some emotions, what was going to happen. And other than going up and down hills all the way into Camino de Santiago, and it raining, it rained. That was one of the best birthdays I ever had, but this year was one of the most unbirthday birthdays, which in many regards has been a super blessing. So my birthday was last Friday, March 20th, and I was at Fort Bragg and enjoying my birthday with a bunch of women that I hadn't ever met in person before. Some of them I've had on my show, like Leah Stiles. So shout out to Leah, and the hug on my birthday, and some of the other ladies from the Valkyrie Project. It Y'all were just a blessing that day, meeting other people from other countries. There was a guy that has a clothing line, and he's from the UK. He's part of the soft UK, and having stuff like that. And it's just doing something different, growing my people garden to have this unbirthday birthday amongst strangers was really pretty cool. And today, finishing it up, closing out birthday month today, and then tomorrow, obviously Monday I have a show as well, The Revivalists, and I have a couple of meetings Monday morning too. That tomorrow I'm hiking 14 miles, so I'm still keeping the hiking side of things as a part of this, I guess, the March. I need to call it my March mantra or something, that my birthday must go hiking. And because there's just so much freedom out there on the trail, and just enjoying the green air. Really, it is green air, the green noise, and just the freshness. And I think, because there's so many people that are going to be participating in the Ultra Tracks event, that there's going to be a certain energy as well. It's if you've ever participated in a 5K or a marathon, there's always there's electric energy in the air with all the people who, we're there with this same mission in mind, but it's not on flat track. This is on terrain. There's elevation, about 3,500 feet total elevation is what I think I saw on the map, and it does a loop-de-loop and uphill and downhill and back uphill again and around the ridge down into the canyon area where the resort is at Massanutten. And it'll be interesting. I even brought my headlamp because I get 10 hours to do 14 miles, but I have not trained to do this length and in this amount of time. I haven't trained it. I can do 9 miles flat in 3 hours, which I think is not too bad. But that's flat, and that's with a weight. I have a very light pack for tomorrow, and I've got some extra socks. I've got my glucose gels. If y'all don't know about glucose gels, man, these things are dynamite. This is my energy. Yeah, these little energy gels are amazing. I've got electrolytes, and I've got my KT tape with me too to tape up my knee, really my left knee, but I'll have plenty extra. I've got some extra mule skin. I always bring my little kit and make sure that, I have, because I'm all about finishing. Seriously, I'm all about finishing. And I even brought a headlamp just in case. I brought a headlamp because I'm going to finish. I think I'll be okay, but we'll see. We'll see. Fortunately, the ultra tracks up here, it is built to be more hiking and walking oriented. I'm sure there's going to be some runners out there. You go for it. I'm not into that, but prayers appreciated. But I want to get back to the vibe that I felt last Friday, and I think the thing that has been motivating me to work on my PhD is I believe that there is always a pain to purpose, right? I mean, I had that accident and in some ways, caused lots of pain in all 4 areas that I talk about on the show: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And I have had to help kilter my legs, using that wooden leg parallel. It does take effort to do that. It is easy to get complacent and say, fine, I'm just going to sit on the couch. I'm just going to sit this race out. And that's okay. But just remember, don't let yourself sit out on the one race that actually you need to be participating in and at least walking towards the finish line. Just a few years ago, I was walking with the red rollator that they issue at the VA. Had plantar fasciitis on both of my heels, could barely walk to the bathroom. Seriously, folks, I could barely walk to the bathroom. It was a struggle to really walk anywhere, and to carry anything as well was a whole different story. I had to make sure I got little, holders on the rollator to put my drink, had the bag on the front where I could carry, food or whatever I needed to go to my bedroom. And I, was not very active whatsoever. Broke my back twice in 2022, which kept me more immobile, and ended up with the kyphoplasty in my back in February 23. I think that's right. And then I had I had, I've had several things happen. I've had several surgeries over the last few years. So for me to be able to get out and be active is a miracle in and of itself. Motion is lotion. I posted that earlier this morning. Motion is lotion. I don't take for granted that I can move. I don't take for granted my attitude that I have to self motivate. You know, the military taught us a lot of things, and I get it. When we got out of the military, we said, no more PT, no more this. Somebody's not going to dictate what I'm doing from sun up to sundown. But you do at some point need to own that yourself and say, I need to take myself to the gym because motion is lotion. I need to watch what I'm putting in my mouth because it's garbage in, garbage out. I need to treat my body like it is the temple that God designed it to be. And it is my responsibility. It is your responsibility to take care of you. And I get that the show started out about taking care of somebody else, but there is this focus that we do have to take care of ourselves before we can help somebody else. And sometimes, yes, we do need to ask somebody to help us, advocate for us, or go to the doctor with us because guess what? Two sets of ears, if we're looking at two people, two sets of ears hear better than just one. And that is that doesn't mean that you are less than. That does not mean that you are not self sufficient to be able to go to the doctor by yourself. But when things do get serious, do not be afraid to let somebody else in to help take care of you. I had some issues going on earlier at the beginning of the year, and my son was willing to go to my doctor's appointment with me. Fortunately, labs and everything cleared back out, and I'm fine. I had wondered earlier this year if I was in stage 3 kidney failure because I had a horrible raging UTI, and that's what the emergency room doctor called it, was a raging UTI. And that was serious. I was not expecting that as a part of my life. I didn't have it on Eva's bingo card that kidney failure was a thing. So we have to plug in. All right. How do I change? Sorry about this, guys. How do we help ourselves? Because that's, if it, this is part of my pain to purpose story. I'm telling you about my pains, which is part of my purpose to help you. And if I can't help myself, then it's kind of hard for me to try to help somebody else. I use analogy. There's a lot of water in here. This is one of those copper. Yes, I do use these, and I do feel better when I drink the copper water, believe it or not. But let's say it was half full. How do I help somebody else if I don't have enough for myself? Right? If my cup is not overflowing, I don't have enough to give to somebody else. But God keeps my cup full. I'm just letting you know. God keeps my cup full. I have plenty of love in my heart that helps lots of other people, and people ask me, "How do you do it?" I don't do it in and of by myself. I will tell you that for sure. It comes from God. God helps me help you guys. God helps give me the words, the guests that I get, and He provides. He provides. I don't have a schedule. I'm getting a little ahead of myself on this, but um, I don't have guests fully lined up for April and May. I normally have guests lined up for 2 months. But this is working out for Paula to join us next Saturday, and I have some other people that will probably fill in, and it's all going to work out. I give it to God. God knows what my schedule needs to be and who needs to hear what. But I wanted to get back to the vibe that I felt last Saturday at Fort Bragg. It was neat seeing uh a younger set of women, and it's neat to see how their military experience evolved since I was in. So granted, I got out in 2000. I would have definitely had been a lifer if I had had that opportunity, but I didn't get the chance. I was discharged on a medical. Really not what I wanted to do, but it's just something that happened because of that car wreck. I showed you guys. It caught up with me. It was not by choice to want to get out. Um, it, it's just the dice roll. It was just, God's, I want to say God's will. I look at it, what the woulda, coulda, shoulda been was, gosh, what if I had to deploy to Tazar, Hungary, or to Iraq or Afghanistan if I had stayed in longer? I might not have ever made it back, and I wouldn't be on air right now. We don't know what would have happened. But all I can ever deal with is being here right now and know that I'm supposed to have this radio show. I'm supposed to be here and talking with you guys and sharing my story and letting you know, gosh, if I can get through, you can get through this too. And I know there's going to be scary times, but just know you're not doing it alone. Seriously. You're not the first person to go through some of these challenges. You're not the first person who has figured out, gosh, which hat am I supposed to wear right now? Yesterday I was military. Today I'm a veteran. And tomorrow or in an hour, I'm mother, I'm sister, I'm husband or wife or daughter or worker, volunteer at the church or, a veteran service organization or whatever. Now you're trying to figure out what each of these hats are that you're changing to, and then you still got to figure out, well, who am I? What do I like to do? That has been the, I think, most interesting thing, and I saw it even from some of the ladies last Friday, that, there are two women sergeant majors who are retiring from essentially soft oriented careers. And now they are literally days away. I think she's got 3 days left, that I gave her and the other sergeant major a copy of my book and said, welcome to the Veteran Club, because that is a big transition in life. But it's kind of neat that I was getting to attend to help pass on that baton and, welcome them to the Veteran Club, because it is going to be a challenge. Then there was this very young woman. We talked about it last Saturday on the show. Very young woman who was a sniper. She was, I'm pretty sure that's what she said she was. She was Marine sniper. She did for 4 years, and she was one hell of a tiny badass thing. I'm only 5'2". She was smaller and shorter than me, and she, apparently could outswim most of those guys, and she, she's got a future ahead of her. And I pray for her, because I don't want her getting taken advantage of. And I think that that's important for us to be able to look out for each other in the veteran community and the military as well. But I saw we talk about MBRs, about giving veterans a voice, and it's beautiful to see that there are active duty women, and there was a sergeant major there who was advocating for his soldier that was attending. She was an 11 Bravo. For her to find people of her kind, more women that she could align with, and know that she's not out there navigating as an 11 Bravo by herself, that she had female cohort resources to be able to lean into and know that she's not out there by herself. I think that it's a beautiful evolution. I grew up in the military and was surrounded by other women. So I didn't ever, I mean, there were women, there were guys, and we all got along. I played with everybody. I mean, not in a weird way, but that's just how my people garden has always grown. I have just gotten along with all kinds of groups of people. That's I I say that, probably the issues we had then are not some of, I don't even know that we didn't have those kind of issues. We certainly had the uniform issues. But I think that, this whole command and discipline problem has something that has been evolving since I was in, and it is going to be a challenge to overcome. And we have to help our own in the veteran community as well. It is something that I've seen with grooming. Grooming, I think, is still a problem, even within the veteran service organizations. And I am careful about how I affiliate with organizations or close to people. I'm just very cautious because I am not going to let myself get put in those kinds of situations. I am going to dress modest and not, although you may see it, I'm going to give a caveat because I'm going to post some pictures from the Japanese spa, head massage thing that I did earlier today that just was amazing. Thus, my hair, I think, actually looks pretty fabulous. No makeup though, but I feel really, really good. I feel really, really energized. And that's because of the self-care. And I think even that's part of the pain to purpose side of things, is helping teach others self-care, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is something that we have to be able to communicate amongst each other. And in so many different, it's going to happen in so many different facets of our life, whether it's with our children, whether it's with our parents, aging parents, right? Could be a spouse. I've been through that rodeo twice. And who else? It could be your best friend. I've had best friends who have had health issues. I lost my best friend. She had lupus and Sjogren's, and I lost her so 6 years ago. I should know that, but I lost Kim, and she was up in Ohio and didn't really have somebody advocating for and with her. She was up there by herself, except for her husband. And, she wasted away. But I was going through stuff with my second husband, and it was hard how do I split time? I have to take care of my kids, and you have to prioritize who do I help and when. And it's always got to be, I got to help me before I can put the oxygen mask on somebody else. And I think if we can work on keeping those kinds of things aligned, we're going to be better off in the veteran community and in the civilian community as well. And then teaching those who get out of the military that we can help be their sponsor, we can help be their mentor, and get them through this transition that is going to take years. It is not something that just happens overnight and say, "Oop, I'm a civilian. Now I know everything civilian." It doesn't work that way. And I'm this is kind of weird. I'm having actually one of those deja vu moments. Yes, having a deja vu moment. So I'm actually where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be here to do this. So, anyways, that's interesting. We have to give ourselves grace. And as we know, this is my own take, as we work with our family members who go through health issues, Mark and I, he died of stage 4 liver disease in 2015. We co-parented. Yes, we co-parented. There was no child support sent back and forth. The kids were on my insurance. He did his thing. I was employed full time. It came down at the very end where I was going to have to pay him child support because the state wanted their money because he needed the Medicaid, but then he didn't last. But we co-parented that whole time, and we made it work because I would have to travel for work, and he would get the kids extra. He would go into the hospital. I would have to watch the kids extra. We traded off and on, and we made it work. And I think that that's where if we're navigating relationships, we're navigating healthcare, and I was not expecting to take on being his medical power of attorney at all. That was a surprise in the hospital that I had to deal with because he had arranged for his mother to, be that medical power of attorney. It was difficult to suddenly take that on, and it was kind of interesting at the end when the chaplain came up and was talking to me. She thought she was going to come into this very bitter situation, and here I am, helping my ex-husband. And I was like, no, I'm doing this out of love for my children, and I, still respect him as a person. And if he chose me, then I'm honored that he chose and trusted that I was going to make the right decisions and everything. So, it's difficult advocating for people beyond ourselves, but we have to be willing to bring other people in on those conversations. And I get it. There's a certain vulnerability in doing that. But my takeaway for you is don't be afraid to let somebody advocate for you, or at least go to those doctor's appointments with you and know that you're not going through the process by yourself. So, Paula Yost is going to join us again next Saturday. We're going to continue the conversation, and I'm sure there will be plenty for us to discuss. Y'all have a great week. More coming out on the schedule in the future, and be blessed. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.